What's going on, everybody? Force here. You're watching Force Plays, and welcome back to the Sea of Thieves. So I've been playing Sea of Thieves now for almost 6 months, and I feel like I've finally found my sea legs. Most of my trading company reputations are at the maximum. I've unlocked plenty of cool cosmetics, and I know my way around a sloop like the back of me hand. At this point, I feel I'm a seasoned enough pirate that I can share some tips and hints for the Swabbies among us. So today, I'm going to tell you a lot of the slang you'll hear seasoned pirates use, so that newer players might be able to better follow along. Let's start with the one I just used. Swabbies are a term used to refer to newer players, often ones that more seasoned players have taken under their wing. What exactly counts as new enough to be considered a Swabbie isn't exact, but usually it's assumed that the Swabbie in question has not become a pirate legend yet. PL is a typed slang more than a spoken one, and it's really more of an acronym, but it's used often enough that I'm going to include it. Simply put, PL means pirate legend, and is usually used to reference something pirate legend related. Examples would be PL hideout, PL curse, and PL cosmetics. Of course, your standard maritime terms are also applicable. Ship directions are often given in the form of port, starboard, aft, and forward. If these terms are unfamiliar to you, the port side of the ship is the left side, the starboard side is the right side, aft is the back end of the ship, and forward, logically, is the front. The crow's nest is the platform at the top of your mast. Most slang you'll probably hear is referencing something in combat, as a way to quickly convey information to your crew in a heated battle. Reps simply means repairs. If someone says they need reps or they are getting reps, they're talking about using planks to repair holes in your ship or repairing damage in the mast, wheel, or capstan. Buckets is a term pirates use to describe the act of bailing water out of the ship. Examples being, I've got buckets, meaning you're bailing water, or saying, we need buckets, meaning your crew needs to get water out of the ship. The term bucketing has two different meanings. It could mean that another crew is bailing water, an example being they're bucketing their ship. But another use of the term is bucketing a corpse. This is the act of using your bucket to scoop near a recently deceased pirate, as a way to say I've mopped you up. Rather unsporting. Every ship needs a boatload of supplies, and pirates who want to know the state of their stores may ask, do we have sups? Sups is a common shorthand for supplies, though some pirates will take that shorthand and re-lengthen it to supper. Yet they're still talking about the supplies. Though if you have food in your supplies, maybe they're just hungry. Everyone dies in combat, and pirates have come up with some creative ways to describe their death. If you've been shot and hit directly with a cannonball for a one-way ticket to the ferry, pirates call this one-balling, or say, I've been one-balled. Experienced pirates will know what you mean. In a similar vein, the blunderbuss is a shotgun-style weapon that is capable of killing pirates in one shot. Pirates call this act of being sent to the ferry via blunderbuss being one blundered. As you can probably imagine, being sent to the ferry is a nicer way of saying you've been rendered unconscious, unalived, sleeping with the fishes, dead to use layman's terms. And when you're returning from the ferry, the loading screen can sometimes take a moment to relay their respawn status to their crew. A reviving pirate might say, I'm black screen. Of course, repairing and dying are not the only important things to communicate in combat, and naval maneuvers are extremely important. Oftentimes a pirate will say dummy sails, meaning to keep the sails aimed forward. This is usually because the ship is incapable of getting full billow, and so it's generally viewed to just keep the sails forward rather than try to angle them, especially when you're turning a lot. Speaking of turning, sometimes you need to make a much sharper turn than normal. There is a technique where a pirate turns their wheel fully one direction, then drops their anchor. When the anchor hits bottom, they will come to an abrupt stop, and their ship will swing heavily to the direction the wheel is turned. As soon as this starts, the pirate re-raise their anchor with their new direction. This is called an anchor turn. Of course, there are other ways of turning. A harpoon turn, or poon turn for short, is when a pirate uses the harpoons mounted to the front end of their ship to latch onto some nearby rock or island and swing around it. It's not as sharp as an anchor turn, but can still work quite well for evasive maneuvering. Of course, you can't die without a fight. Most sea battles usually involve two phases, naval combat and boarding, and there are terms for both. If someone says, "I've got cannons," then they are trying to shoot the enemy ship with your cannons to do damage. If a pirate is taking damage from enemy cannon fire and then knockback from said cannons knocks them overboard, this is called popcorning, in much the same way that popcorn jumps about when it pops. Boarders will also use cannons to try to land as close to the other ship as possible for an easy board. Pirates who are either considerably lucky or considerably skilled may even land directly on the deck of the enemy ship when fired from a cannon. This is known as a deck shot. Once aboard, these pirates will engage in person-to-person combat, which is also known as team deathmatch or TDMing for short. If a pirate is using two firearms instead of a gun and the cutlass, this person is double gunning and will typically be described as a double gunner. If a pirate is using the cutlass and only the cutlass, despite having a gun as well, they will typically be described as a sword lord.
Thought you lads wanted to have a drink. That's not very drinkerly of you.
To get back to harpoons for a moment, pirates will sometimes just shorten harpoon to poon, and will also use that form of the word in other contexts. For example, "Poon me" might be a request pirates make when they want you to use the harpoon to pull them onto the ship. Harpoons can also be mounted on rowboats, which also have a few fun nicknames as well. Dinghy or rowie are common terms for rowboats. Rowboats with cannons mounted on them are sometimes referred to as motorboats because of the large amount of pushback you can get from firing the rowboat's cannon. When you're in adventure mode, you often find a very powerful item called the Trident of Dark Tides. This name is rather long and sometimes difficult to say, and so pirates will usually shorten it a bit. Although just Trident is a good one, oftentimes you'll hear these powerful ones being referred to as Disney sticks, pixie sticks, or siren sticks, due to their association with the Pirate's Life expansion, magic, and the sirens respectively. A common threat in Sea of Thieves is the skeleton, though rarely will you hear them being referred to in such a bland fashion. Skellies is the common vernacular, with scoop and scallion being the stand-in for a skeleton sloop or a skeleton galleon, respectively. You could also say that some pirates call the golden skeletons gold boys, and the plant skeletons leafy boys. And by some pirates, I mean me. And as an honorable mention, since they created the game, Rare says that a ruby splashtail is an epic fail. Me, I call a ruby splashtail food. So that is all the sailor slang of the Sea of Thieves I have for you today. I hope you found this informative and entertaining. Just so you know, I live stream Sea of Thieves every Tuesday, and I also live stream it every once in a while on Saturday over at twitch.tv/PojiForce if you are so inclined. Thank you so much for watching the video, and I'll see you guys again very soon. Take care, everybody.